Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for coming. I don't have a big PowerPoint show that I'm going to show you. I'm a businessman, so I don't use graphics to explain myself. I have a spreadsheet, however. Who loves spreadsheets? No, thank you for coming. This is going to be about sales. As Alex just disclaimed, it's going to be about networking sales. The reason I want to talk about network is because everybody talks about network. The reason that you came here today is to some extent probably network. But what is network actually? So when you sit here today together, you probably have some sort of vision or wish that you'd get something out of it someday. We all have a job. We all work within sales. So let's just admit it. We want to create more sales, and the people that we're here with either can inspire us on how to do it, which can be like a function way, or how do we approach it, or we can sell to one another because we know one another and know that we are trustworthy people and that we create value for each other. The way I want to explain network is usually the sum of the things that you give somebody else. So you can't have network with somebody who you haven't given anything ever in your life. On LinkedIn, I have more than 6,000 connections. I work with recruitment, so I'm pretty all over the place. No, I don't have 6,000 people who'd want to do things for me. I probably have, if I'm lucky, about 100. So if you measure that in percentages, it's a very, very small amount of the people I'm connected with on LinkedIn that would want to do some sort of extra effort for me. And you should probably look at your network in the same way. So when you look at, for example, your LinkedIn connections, it could also be your Facebook connections. It could also be your email list database or whatever. When you look into that and you go through every name in that list, who have you done something for in the past year that you think they want to repay you for to some extent? So the easy takeaways from a presentation like this is, first of all, go out and ask the people that you have closest. Like you have 5 people probably in your inner professional network that you'd say, okay, can you help me create more business? Can you help me create more sales in some way? Then let me know how. If you know the right people, connect me to them. It's very easy. Just remember to do it because people want to help you. The second thing is go through your calendar. Go home, go through the past month. In December month, go through the calendar. Who did you meet in that month? I'll bet you that you forgot some of those meetings. Mm-hmm. And in those meetings, you probably said something to someone that helped them gain more insights or come closer to some sort of conclusion. Now, if you stretch that out to the entirety of 2019, go through it like really, really detailed. Go through who did you have meetings with, who did you have more meetings with, and who did you give insights on those meetings, and how can you convert that into business by getting back to them. So think about it from your own perspective. The last time that somebody called you up, let's say you met with somebody half a year ago, and they said the usual line of, yeah, let's talk someday, we'll have a beer, blah, 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 goodbye. The sun is shining, I'm going out with my wife. And then half a year after, this person actually calls you and says, hey, what's up? So we spoke half a year ago, it was about this and that, and I hope everything is going well. Did it go according to plan? I don't know. But how's it going? Because, we spoke about this business and maybe we should move on. When that happens to me, I feel seen, I feel heard, and I really feel taken seriously. Because it wasn't just another event of let's talk someday. So go through that calendar and see, okay, is there anything, there is probably some left out business to find in there. And then the last thing, which is a bit more in the setup, it's a bit more tedious. It's now the spreadsheet I'm gonna open up here, if it wanna. Yep. So the way we work with sales in recruitment, when you have an intangible, for example, when you have a consultancy business, as we do to some extent, you want to rely on happy customers. So, for example, we have a customer in here today who's not at the top of the list. Nope. A guy called Rolf. He's the founder of a company called Go Learn. A year ago, he's sitting in the back row. A year ago, we fucked up seriously. We did some bad work for him. Let's just be honest. We didn't solve the task according to plan. Things dragged out. We didn't know what to do. And then we ended up finding a really great employee for them. I'm saying really great because it's Søren sitting right here. I don't know. And then we cut off some prices because I was like, well, we didn't deliver according to promise, so we'll suck up the damage and then see what happens. What happened is that Rolf turned into a happy customer. Now, 10 months later, I'm trying to close a company called Sleeknote, who some of you probably heard of. Sleeknote has a CEO called Mogens Møller. And Rolf apparently knows Mogens Møller pretty darn good. So as soon as Mogens went to Rolf, because he saw then historically Statum worked with Go Learn, he asked, so what do you think about, what do you think about Statum? How's it working? And Rolf was just being honest. I mean, everything didn't go according to plan, but I mean, they tried to catch up and they did quite a good work, and everything worked out. That reference is now going to close us pretty significant business. And that was all network. We fed into the network of Rolf because we delivered something good to him. So obviously there's a thing of good service and everything, but it's also being aware that the sales that we do are a result of the network that we're selling into. Because when we sell recruitment, and probably those of you who sell consultancy services probably know this, when you sell consultancy services, intangible services that you cannot just prove and say, well, when you sign up with us, you can definitely gain at least 3 times the business that you would without us. Because we can see from this and that case and data and so on. You can't from us. We can say, well, Rolf, as we told him back then, we're going to deliver you the greatest candidates, we're going to do it fast, and we're going to do it cost efficiently. We did it cost efficiently, but we didn't do much else. And Rolf would probably have appreciated if he had somebody he could ask beforehand, so how do they work? Then he'd at least be prepared for it. And that's what started out this spreadsheet. So first of all, I'm going to recommend the software. The software behind is a thing called Airtable. Throughout, you're probably going to ask, why are you not just using like Google Sheets or Excel? But it's because Airtable has some functions that really, really help the efficiency of this function. So we have some tabs up here. The first of them called companies. So we lined up, I think in this spreadsheet we have about 100 or 150 companies that we want to sell to at some point. We sell to scale-ups, so we went into like the Danish software as a service and tech business and lined up every damn company in there that we wanted to sell to as fast as possible. Then we have the logos, obviously, and then we have the status on them. So some of them are potential partners, some of them are ex-partners, and in ex-partners to us is they're not active right now, they're not hiring as of now, so what would happen in the future. Then we have current partners and ourselves. Then we also have like a minor category of early stage companies that maybe are going to turn into something. So we just want to keep an eye on them. In the next one, we have a priority list. So in the priority list, we want to say something about how much effort are we putting into these companies right now. And effort meaning how much time do we want to dedicate on closing them. So if we have a client that we really, really, really want to go hard on, put it on very high, because then everybody in sales will know that this client needs attention. If you ever talk to somebody that is related to this company, you really need to step your game up. And in the other end, for example, all the early stage companies that we have, also some of the ex-partners that said quite straight to us, we're not going to do anything with recruitment right now, are in the low category. Don't spend any time on them. Come back once in a while to say hello, see what's going on, but don't do too much. And then the most important thing, we have contacts listed. So we went into every company and then we found out, okay, when selling recruitment services, who is going to take decision on this? Beslutningstager. As you probably know, in any damn sales school, you want to talk to the decision maker. And we really take this seriously. There are only a few people in a company that you want to talk to. There are a lot of people that are going to try and stop you from talking to that person, and that are really going to try and gatekeep you to a great extent. But there are a few people in the biggest companies, for example, such as Grandhood. There are probably 5 people that we really want to talk to. So when we list those people, we say, okay, who's the decision maker? And then the most exciting part, how can we get in touch with them? So for example, in here we have Rico Andersen, who is the CEO of Ageas. When I open him up, I see, you'd actually see a picture of him here, but we don't have any internet connection.
Should have given you the Wi-Fi password.
Yeah, then it makes more sense. So, I'm going to try again. In here we have Rico Andersen. Beautiful man.
Wow.
Yeah. As you see, he's currently an ex-partner for us. The priority right now is medium. And then down here we have a category called interactions. So we listed possible interactions that has been with this single person. For example, Nicolas worked close to Rico and has a very strong connection because I worked for this guy. That's why I call him beautiful. If he comes back, I don't want him to hear that I'm talking shit about him. Also, Michael, who's our head of operations, worked with him. And Martin, who he is also connected to, the other guy in this company, founded Ageas together, and then another guy weren't there for very long. So this information tells us, for example, if a sales guy goes into this Airtable spreadsheet and wants to connect with Ageas to some extent, they'll open up Rico Andersen and see, okay, how do I get in touch with the CEO? Well, obviously Nicholas and Michael know him, so it's going to be through them. And then we go help one another. Then we can also see, we listed the events that are happening. For example, at Sales Bar number 6, I can tell you that Learning Bank is going to be here. Spoiler alert. And we can open up the Sales Bar and see, okay, so what companies do we have here? We really want to sell to 23. Is there anybody from 23 here? No, we have a potential partner in 23. We have a partner in Learning Bank, and then we have ourselves. So in this list, and we don't have all companies in here that we'd probably want here, but in this list we have these companies here. And then we also can see who had talks at this event. So for example, Daniel, who is probably able to influence sales decisions, had a talk on Sales Bar, and Camilla also had a talk on Sales Bar. So we know if we want to get something through those people, we can go meet them at Sales Bar. For example, we are most likely, and talking about network in the entrepreneurial environment, you cannot avoid the Seedster event. And for many years, I've been very, very skeptical of this event because I was like, oh, it started by Jesper Buch, and everything started by Jesper Buch. He says it himself. He sells air, so I don't want to buy anything from him. But I keep hearing good things about it, so I reevaluated it. And now when we think about going there this year, it's because we can see that there are more than 400 participants. A lot of them, because again, we sell to scale-ups, a lot of them are probably going to be at this event. So we're going to do the exact same exercise here. We're going to add this event into our Airtable. We're going to add every person attending it, and then we're going to prioritize, okay, so who do we want to speak to in what order? And we need to speak to those people if we go to that event, or the event isn't going to pay off. So,
can I ask a question about that?
Yeah.
You're going to contact them prior to the event?
Some of them, yeah, probably.
How,
depending on
when you're
prioritization.
at the event, how do you know who they are?
We're going to find them on LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever, add pictures of them in Airtable and have everyone listed.
I'm just thinking, going prior to that, having LinkedIn and everything.
Yeah.
So having the connection before that.
Yeah. We'd probably do that on like the on the highly prioritized companies or people. We'd probably do that, like trying to create some sort of foundation, saying, hey, we know they're going to Seedster. Let's speed up if you can, and make sure we have a beer or something like that. So that's definitely part of like the meeting booking, if you will. Just to show you how it works in here, we can open up the Contacts tab. Then we'll see on every company we have the contacts listed, and these tabs, and that's why I'm not using Excel. First of all, it's not me who made this. We have people for that. I don't do anything. But we have tabs up here, and then they can drag from one another. So whenever we add something in companies over here, and if we add a contact there, it'll go into this tab as well. So for example, in order steering, we have Tommy and Kenneth, and we have their pictures. Now this is really like, in talking about Facebook times and picture times, this seems a little stalkerish. But again, let's be blunt, we're salespeople. We just want the money. And then over here in interactions, you can then add every interaction that you have had with people. So try and add the significant ones. I mean, if you met up with someone and just said hello and they're not going to remember either your face or your name, it doesn't really matter. But for example, Victor here, somebody mingled with him at sales bar number 4. I mean, now we know.
Oh my God.
Now we know that Sile, Nikolai, and Frederick, they're probably like in on Victor. And I'm not breaking any GDPR rules here. These are all like the personal information. Everything is accessible online. So just to be upfront. So the way we want to use this, as I said before, is when we talk about network, we really want to make sure that we get something out of it. It can seem a bit cynical, but the way what we really want to do is we want to structure a network. So we want to make sure that the people we talk to and the people we relate to really are, well, first of all, we remember them, and second of all, we know how to get back to them and how to get in on them the best way possible. As I said in the beginning, this takes some time to set up. And it takes some time to maintain, because really it's tedious, and that's why I don't do it myself. It's hard to follow up on, but the results from it are quite astounding, because you know that every time you need to get into somebody, get in touch with somebody that you haven't been in touch with before, or every time you need to follow up on something, you know which channel to use to be more efficient. I hope it was useful. Let me know if you have any questions.
I have a question to start. I don't know if I missed it because I was on my phone working. So you use Airtable for this. It makes sense. I love the tool as well.
Yep.
But why not use a CRM tool?
I don't have a good answer. Actually, it's because we don't use CRM that much, and we love this tool. But you could probably, I mean, to the extent I work with HubSpot, you could probably use that as well.
I was thinking about we use HubSpot. I think some of the things you can, but the interactions part, for example, was actually quite a nice way to remember who. Now, so that was actually a very nice touch. I'm trying to think we can create this. Maybe never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually a very nice touch to it. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, but I don't have like a really good answer.
If I can add something, it's Michael, our head of operation, who has made this, and he spent a month looking through every CRM system, and he couldn't find the system who could do the things because this is the start. He wanted to take it even further, so he has some ideas that couldn't be carried out in our CRM system.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
How much time do you think on a weekly basis that each person at Statum spends on this?
Each person doesn't spend anything at all, but 2 people in sales and operations probably spend a couple hours each week.
So you have like an owner that does this whole
Yeah.
project? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then you report back every time. Yeah.
So recruiting is about people and trust and so on. And let's say you sold Statum, what would the database be worth then? Let's say I bought Statum and I called you up, your customers up and said, hey, you talked to Nicolas. Do you think that would have an impact on the relationship that they have with the company?
You're asking, would this be anything worth anything if we sold the company?
If it's a personal database that you could take along with you.
Yeah,
to the company and the
Yeah, that probably that would be very mixed. Like depending on who in the company most of the events were attached to. But you're right. I mean, to a certain extent, it's a personal thing. So you want to build this on a personal level to see, okay, how can I get in touch with the people, or which people do I know that could get in touch with them? So I don't think there'd be too much added value. You should use it primarily because you want to, find out how to expand network like in a structured way. Yeah.
Cool. We have a half an hour break now before the next talk, so there will be plenty of time to talk to Nicolas if you want that, and you have a closer look at the system. There's more beers, and I will call you in again in about 25 minutes.
Cool, thank you.